Good morning. Welcome to our thought for this day, this Wednesday, the 3rd of June. Our reading this morning is taken from Luke 9, starting at verse 37. The story begins just after they've come down from the amazing transfiguration of Jesus. The next day, when they came down from the mountain, a large crowd gathered to meet him. A man in the crowd called out, "Teacher, I beg you to look at my son, for he is my only child. A spirit seizes him and suddenly screams. It throws him into convulsions so that he foams at the mouth. It scarcely ever leaves him and is destroying him. I begged your disciples to drive it out, but they could not." "O unbelieving and perverse generation," Jesus replied, "how long shall I stay with you and put up with you? Bring your son here." Even while the boy was coming, the demon threw him to the ground in a convulsion. But Jesus rebuked the evil spirit, healed the boy, and gave him back to his father. And they were all amazed at the greatness of God. While everyone was marveling at all that Jesus did, he said to his disciples, "Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. The Son of Man is going to be betrayed into the hands of men." But they did not understand what this meant. It was hidden from them, so that they did not grasp it, and they were afraid to ask him about it. An argument started amongst the disciples as to which of them would be the greatest. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, took a little child and made him stand beside him. Then he said to them, "Whoever welcomes this little child in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. For he who is least among you all, he is the greatest." "Master," said John, "we saw a man driving out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him, because he's not one of us." "Do not stop him," Jesus said, "for whoever is not against you is for you." I think the scariest thing that ever happened in my life was when one of my children suffered a small fit. There seemed to be nothing I could do apart from trembling with fear and lie the child in the recovery position and pray that he might come through it. So I think I understand something akin to what the man who brings his son to Jesus and says, "Teacher, I beg you, look at my son, for he is my only child." It's interesting that the story in our reading for today is included by three of the gospel writers, who all put the story immediately after the transfiguration. It's as if they think they fit together. Many seem to live lives without either the mountaintop or the valleys. There are people of the plateau, living undramatic and unexciting lives. God does seem to call only a few to that type of life. But for the many, dramatic visions and spiritual experiences are balanced by the huge demands. The more open we are, or allow ourselves to be, to the different dimensions of God's glory, the more we seem to be open to the pain of the world. The distressed father pleads with Jesus to stop, and he begs Jesus to free his son from his hopeless and cruel suffering. Jesus is moved by the plea and suffering and rebukes the demon, thus restoring the boy. The disciples had failed to do this. Maybe they were distracted by arguing about who of them was the greatest. Perhaps they were rather like me and too busy and distracted by some other people who were managing to deal with the demons. But those people were not part of their group. Jesus invites the disciples to look again, away from their own concerns. He asks the disciples to pause and see. As we take time during this lockdown, and as we take time to welcome the child, or a stranger, or even one another, we begin to welcome God. And so as we welcome God, we will begin to see differently, not distracted by rivalry or fear, but able to see, to love, and to act. This week, may we all not be distracted, but take time to love and to act as God leads. God bless you all. I hope you have a great rest of the week.